There are a lot of trading card games out in the world today. Some at the top level of production, others are indie homemade trading card games like mine, Kingdom's homemade trading card game, Kingdoms TCG. Anyways, if you're like me though, you want to keep in touch with all these games, but it's hard to keep on top of the lore. So sometimes when someone releases a new card, or in my case, maybe a new kingdom or group of people, it's kind of hard to see the big picture or the relevance other than them just being new cards in the game. And so this video is a primer for anyone that is new to the game or someone that needs a refresher on all the lore for the Kingdoms trading card game. Let's go ahead and jump on in. So the Kingdoms trading card game is found in the world of Endgame. Now, Endgame is a massive expanse with a lot of beautiful different scenery and landscapes and geography. And so far in the game, only just a small percentage of it has actually been touched because of where the kingdoms have been created. Now, how are kingdoms created? How was Endgame created? Well, they were made by the three big spirits, Borum, Mrif, and Tanis. Now, Borum, Mrif, and Tanis are spirits that have existed for eternity, for forever, and they have existed in perfect harmony. They're not at war with each other, and they're equal in power to each other. So even if they wanted to see who the most powerful of them was, it'd be impossible for them to do so. So one day, and at least as we can make sense of it, they decided to create a world in which they would each create their own people groups to see if they existed in a mortal form, who would be the most powerful or most successful. So there really wasn't a military goal behind it. It was just who would be the best, though military fighting as a result of that. And so as a result, they created the world of Endgame. Now, how do we make sense of all this? Well, in the game of Kingdoms, in the lore of Kingdoms, there are certain people called the scribes. Now, there are a lot of very spiritual or religious people found in the world of Endgame and the different kingdoms that are created, but the scribes are special people because they seem to just be able to make sense of the world that they live in, as all these people are trying to make sense of how they came to be and how everything else comes to be. So the scribes, all the stories that we hear are the things that the scribes have written down and have made sense of. And so they start the timeline with a certain numeral and TB, which stands for the beginnings. And the beginnings are when the spirits made their first kingdoms. Mrif, who's a little bit more political or tactile or likes to try to navigate conversationally through things and is a little bit more peaceful, made the kingdom of Furbish in 0TB. The spirit of Tanis, she's a lot more defensive, is protective, kind of has strong moral grounding. And so the first kingdom that she made was the kingdom of Estercrest. And then the spirit of Borum, he's a little bit more aggressive in nature, is a little bit greedy, likes to get things that he wants, and so he made the kingdom of Linford. And if you're familiar with the lore so far, those kingdoms that are made represent the characteristics of the spirits that made them. And so the scribes put that on the timeline, and there's one scribe called the metalsmithing scribe that whenever the scribes write down a story, he crafts just a handful of coins that represent that significant event. So in this case, the beginnings is represented by the spirits making the world of Endgame. Now, the way that the spirits make things, the kingdoms, is through this process, this magical force called Suna. And if you are someone that has been able to witness this in the world of Endgame, you are a special person, but hardly anyone, maybe not anyone, has ever seen it except for maybe a few scribes. And what it is this massive pink ball of energy where the kingdoms, the spirits will create a new kingdom where no one is at the moment and where no one is existing. And instantly this kingdom is made where there's people of various ages, people of various different skills and jobs, and it's as if this kingdom has already been existing for years. Now the spirits, the big spirits, Borum, Mrif, and Tanis, they exist at a distance. They don't interact with the people that they make in the world. However, when they do make kingdoms, they also make less powerful spirits or versions of themselves that help their people in times of need, whatever that need may be, which is where the spirit cards come to play in the game. Now, if you also play the game, you'll see that kingdoms all have a spirit affiliation or loyalty in the top right corner of the card, and that shows which king or what spirit that they are a part of or which spirit created them. So in the game, whenever a new kingdom is made, it is made by a spirit, Borum or Tanis, and that kingdom tends to represent the nature of the spirit that made them, I should say. And so that is the basic lore of the game. If you want to get in touch with the in-depth lore of the game, there is a whole playlist full of lore stories for the Kingdoms trading card game. And if you also go to the Wix website, you can see a timeline of when things start to happen in the Kingdoms story. The whole world of Engom in the Kingdoms trading card game is full of rich story, and as each set comes out, there's a whole new bout of stories that come to be, and it's really cool to see how they all start to get related together. So I'm curious, what do you think of the Kingdoms trading card game lore? Tell me about the lore for your game, or if you have any questions about how you could get started on your own lore. I know for me, the lore has been one of my most favorite things to work on, and it really gives me good ideas for future cards and even card artwork, which has been a lot of fun. Anything that I want you to know about is in the description box below. And I do want to end this video with a Bible talk because my faith in Jesus Christ is something that is important to me. And I want to encourage you to make sure you are spending time in prayer, spending time in Scripture, and maybe more importantly, or of at least equal importance, make sure you're spending time with other people that believe in Jesus as well, so that not only can you encourage them to grow in their relationship, but they can encourage you as well. Thanks for watching, and whatever time of the day that it is, whether it be the morning, evening, or night, I hope you have a good rest of your day. Thanks.